Today I decided to talk about a very important topic, and it's learning music and the instrument. And the comparison I would like to make today is to learning the instrument and the music in general as learning new language. Because music is in a way a new language which has its rules, which has its used phrases, which has its way of communication, different emotions. And therefore, I think it's a great idea to learn music as learning new language. This idea came to my mind when I spent last 4 months in Spain. I was there for Erasmus studies, and from the beginning I knew just a little bit of Spanish. Luckily, I moved to the place where only Spanish-speaking speakers lived, and I had no other option than just start using the language or don't speak at all with the people I was living with. So I decided that I will learn Spanish, and it was the best way I could have learned. And I see this comparison as musician who learn a little bit of the music and suddenly end up in the environment full of musicians. And the only way he could speak to those musicians would be use his instrument. He couldn't use his voice. And therefore, what would you do in that moment? You would try to figure out different emotions, different chords, and you will learn how to communicate you through the music. And that was the moment when the idea of learning the instrument as learning the language occurred to me. Therefore, the step number 1 for learning the instrument as learning the language would be to learn the basics. Because when you get to the environment, you need to know at least a few words to start speaking to those people. In the moment when you know the basics, you start using the words in the environment where are only musicians. Meaning, you would go to jam sessions, you would go to music workshop, and you would surround yourself with the musicians. Therefore, you would be pushed to use what you learned, and it's a way to learn very, very fast. So I was in Spain learning those basic language, trying to speak, and I was improving quite fast. But the next thing which you need to do to keep improving very fast while you learning the instrument as learning the language is that you need to keep working on yourself. You need to keep learning new vocabulary. You need to keep learning new chords, new melodies, new songs. And then the magic of being surrounded by those native speakers is that you can use it immediately. And because you immediately start using it, you will remember it super fast, and it gets under your skin so fast. So while you're surrounded by those other musicians, keep working on your music, keep learning your instrument, and then use it immediately. For example, you want to go for a jam session next Friday, you have some basic scales, you know something what you want to play, but you want to play something new, you want to play something more. So learn one more song which you will play on that jam. And this, what will you do before every jam sessions? And gradually you will improve very fast, and you will get the idea of your musicality under your skin, in your brain, also very fast. So we made 3 basic steps. We learned basics, then we got into the environment of the musicians, and then we keep improving our musicality, our repertoire, our technical knowledge of the instrument. And what to do next? The next thing I would recommend is to maintain the level. Not only you keep improving, but you're maintaining, you keep working, that you won't forget what you learned. And why am I saying this? The reason is that I was there with my Spanish friends. Could speak only English and I learned so much. I learned a lot of new vocabulary and grammar, and I started being able to speak with them. If I would be speaking about the language, I started to be playing the songs and communicate them with my friends. But a few months at the beginning of this year, I got back. And that was the moment when I lost the connection with my Spanish friends, and now I had to kept my level of Spanish. What would I do? To keep my level of Spanish, I decided to stay in touch with my Spanish friends and keep going to Spanish speaking places, bars, restaurants, discos, when I stay in touch with Spanish culture and language. And about the music, it's very important that even though you would lose for some time the contact with the other musician, you should keep working at home. You should keep working on your level to maintain what you got, because if you stop practicing, you will forget. You will lose dexterity in your fingers and forget it very fast. This is a very short story about how I learned Spanish and how I think it's applicable on learning the instrument. I hope it was useful, and see you at the next one.